For nearly a week, the kids met inside the park after going to bed, but only for a matter of minutes. As quickly as possible, they would use the button to return home. Having looked for no more clues, they caught up on sleep. They did their homework, they rejoined their families. Maybeck's abduction had worn them out and frightened them to the point of not wanting to continue. They overcame their reluctance only when Philby showed up at one of the meetings telling of a newspaper story he'd read about an electrical power station that had been attacked and drained of all its power.
This is not a coincidence. This is spreading beyond the park.
On Saturday morning, the girls decided to use their complimentary passes to enter the Magic Kingdom legally. As kids, not DHIs. That felt safer. They wore disguises in order to keep fans from spotting them, and carried 3D glasses to wear on the rides. As they stood outside, waiting to board the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, a cartoony voice came over the speaker saying, "Happy Wednesday." It was this and other references on the ride that led them to pick it as the most wind-oriented ride in the park. Wind was the third clue in the Stonecutter's fable. They sat down in the car and the ride began. Black lights made their teeth glow white, and their skin and clothing disappear.
Glasses. You look right, I'll look left. If you see any letters, big letters in an unexpected place, we're supposed to write them down.
I've got it.
She sounded nervous, and Willa understood her concern. The rides had been anything but friendly since this hunt had began. As they traveled along, doors swung open to admit their car into each new scene. Reaching the third scene, Charlene realized she heard no one talking. She looked back and saw there was no one in the car behind them. Rising to her knees, she saw no one in the car behind that one either. Yet the line out front had been packed.
Willa?
Over there!
Willa pointed out a large colorful tree drawn into a panel. She lifted and dropped her 3D glasses on to her nose in order to make sure. But yes, there was a single letter drawn into the leaves of the tree.
It's an S!
S? But look behind us.
Willa was too excited to look back.
There's no one behind us. No one in the cars behind us. Why not?
Willa pulled out a folded piece of paper from her pocket and scribbled down S. As she did, a drop of water appeared on the paper. Then another and another.
Behind us!
Willa looked back. She looked up. More water. The doors to the next scene popped open and shut. They were in the rain scene. Rain drawn in long lines down the walls. Rain falling from the ceiling.
Since when was this a part of the ride?
Willa stuffed the paper into her pocket. At that moment, the car stopped moving.
What's happening? Why are we stopping?
The few light raindrops changed into a downpour. At first it seemed funny, but then it wasn't simply rain, it was a torrent. Buckets. Both girls gasped for breath through a steady stream of water pouring down onto them. It was hard to breathe without coughing.
This isn't right.
Now the water beneath their car began to rise. The car lifted, floating. Charlene lunged forward nervously, nearly capsizing them. She leaned out of the car and pushed against the large doors to the next scene.
They're stuck. They won't open.
As the water rose at an astonishing rate, the car floated higher and higher. Sparks flew as electrical wires submerged.
Stay in the car. We could be electrocuted.
Willa?
I know.
The car rose higher still. Sparks flew again as more lights went under.
We're in trouble.
Duh!
We need a way out.
Just now occurred to you, did it?
The rain felt like a waterfall. The car was now less than 3 feet from the ceiling. Another foot or two, and the car would have pinned the girls inside it. Why won't the doors to the next scene open? Willa thought.
Sit still.
Studying the large scene doors, Willa stood up in the car. Charlene hollered at her to sit down as the car threatened to tip over. Willa grabbed the overhead pipes to stabilize the car. She pulled hand over hand to draw the car closer to the doors. But the water rose. With so little room, Willa was forced to sit back down into the seat. No time! Water streamed down her neck and shoulders as she spotted a sawed-off length of pipe jammed across the top of the large doors, locking them and holding them shut. The rain was nothing more than an emergency sprinkler system gone wild, as this trouble could be easily explained. The sprinklers malfunctioning. Maleficent had done her job well. Willa pulled on the sawed-off length of pipe but couldn't budge it. She called to Charlene to help as the water rose steadily higher. Together, they pulled. Water spilled over the side of the car, quickly filling it. Willa chanted.
1, 2.
On 3. Both girls heaved the pipe, pulling it free. The doors flew open. The girls fell back into the car as a few thousand gallons of water rushed into the next scene, and the car rode into the leading edge of the wave like a surfboard. The plume of water spun and turned and twisted its way out towards the ride's finish, leveling off as it reached the exit. Their car lowered and settled into the track, right where it had started. The waiting guests stood there drenched head to toe. A lake of water had flooded the pavement outside of the attraction. In all the confusion, the two girls hurried from the car and ran for their lives.